Servant leader to the people, working for the greater good, pushing social change with purpose, causing shifts no other could. Empowering the powerless with education, you inspire every mind and soul and voice to take your causes ever higher. You hope to wake the world up on an even grander scale, dragging shadows to the light, living to tell the epic tale. Each day is a journey of resilience over resistance, but you give words to those who have none and are undaunted by the distance. Introducing the advocate archetype. If we don't know each other, hi, I'm Jen Kem. I'm the CEO of the Master Brand Institute, where we guide entrepreneurs on the path to uncovering their unique message with such clarity they can turn any conversation into a sales conversion. And today we're talking about the brand archetype called the advocate. In this video, I want to give you an in-depth understanding of what it means to embody the advocate brand archetype. We're going to cover strengths, weaknesses, business themes, and integrating this information into your business. If the advocate had a power statement, it's, I am the advocate. I'm here to leave the world in a better condition than I found it. I believe that people are inherently good, and despite our differences, we all have a lot in common and ultimately want the same things. I bring out the best in people. When they're with me, people want to be kinder, more compassionate, get along, and do the right thing. I believe that one person, one idea, and one deed can transform an entire community. Every action creates a ripple. Every day, I create a positive ripple effect, and I inspire my audience to do the same. Now, when we talk about brand archetypes, each one has a set of power words that best represent them. I think it's important to point out that the words themselves don't need to be used in every piece of your message. It's more accurate to say, when your audience reads your message, they need to feel these power words. Advocate power words include inspiration, cause, energy, life, compassion, friendly, neighborly, connecting, helper, kindness, positivity, and community. A great question to ask yourself is, does my current message make me feel these words? Moving on, one of the most important things I recommend when it comes to fully embodying your brand archetype is looking at brands who model your archetype well. I call them master brand models because that's what they are, models of brands that masterfully embrace their archetype. When we look at these conceptual models, what you're really looking to try to understand is the vibe or the energy they give off, not the literal look or words, though that might be useful. The master brands that I believe model the advocate archetype excellently include Rachel Ray, Jonathan Fields, Pat Flynn, Tom Shoes, Goodbye, Bookshop.org, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. At its essence, the advocate helps trigger the behaviors and outlook that allows us to fit in enough to be part of the greater whole. They place an extra emphasis that everyone in the ecosystem matters, not just the perceived winners or favored individuals. The advocate is the regular guy or gal, the person that everyone can relate to. Justice, fairness, and equity are values that they hold dear, and those themes are quite obvious in all of the archetype's messaging. It encourages people to ask, do people like me? Will I be accepted? Do people care? Moving into strategic positioning, the advocate gives off a vibe that says the good things in life are available to everyone. In fact, they're every person's right to have. Strengths of this archetype include feelings of belonging, approachability, realism, empathy, and inclusivity. Recurring themes and pillars of this brand include all men and women were created equal. Democracy reigns. For the people, by the people. Everyone has a place here, and together we create change. See, the advocate archetype is one that brings a voice to issues that affect everyone. Values include personal integrity, equity, and responsibility. Social causes are extremely important to the advocate, and meaning is always more important than profit. This archetype has a deep belief in the goodness of humanity. Therefore, pushing social agendas forward is required to continue building a society of goodwill. Non-threatening, all-inclusive, and a charming networker, this archetype doesn't need heroics or adventure to make a change and has no problem making friends. The advocate is brilliant at creating collaborative, participatory communities for the mutual benefit of the collective goal. Of course, all archetypes have a dark side as well. In archetypal psychology, the dark side isn't a bad thing. Simply put, these are things that, when done, make it harder than necessary to get what you actually want. So the advocate can elevate to playing or becoming a victim to abusers of their good nature. This can also look like following or accepting negative actions of others in their business or networks. Advocates in their shadow tend to give up their uniqueness, choosing to blend in instead of standing out. And they're tempted to work for causes primarily for personal gain rather than the greater good. The feelings you may experience that begin these dark side actions are resentment in groups that don't allow them to just fit in, feeling bad when they have more than another person, trying to be less than so that they're accepted. Other feelings or instances that lead to dark side behavior are believing in dogma, laziness, choosing to feel abandoned, seeking outside opinions to make decisions instead of trusting themselves. Again, there's nothing wrong with these things, so don't feel ashamed if you experience them. It's more important to understand that these things can make you start doing things that don't support what you actually want. And when they come up, now you know about them, so you can identify them and pivot into what you should be doing. So what makes the advocate unique in your industry? Well, the advocate supports and promotes social change with a sense of purpose that is tied to championing the rights of others and to improving humanity and our institutions. They're compelled to transform social issues and empower people to use their voices for a cause that might be unpopular, obscured, or that others don't want to address. Meaning is tethered in the satisfaction that comes from adding value to society on a large scale and supporting movements for the common good. Resilient in the face of resistance, they possess an ingenuity to effect change while being resourceful, integrous, and responsible. Now, let's integrate all of this concept into your business in a meaningful way. The customers of the advocate archetype demand just the facts, ma'am, okay? They don't like drama at all, and they want a brand that tells it like it is in a neighborly, all-inclusive way. Therefore, hype and people who put on airs are not compatible with this archetype. Human issues are a favorite topic of the advocate's audience as they are natural community builders. Whether offline or online, creating a community where audience members come together will quickly grow the brand. Any level of exaggeration or fluffy language won't work when talking to your audience. Be fact-based, optimistic, and open to controversial issues without being the originator of them. The emotional phrases you want to stir up in your audience include, "You make me want to hang out more with you." "You make me feel like I can be myself without being judged." "You remind me that life is short, so I should make more friends." "You always give me a fair shake when I work with you." "You remind me to be myself and be part of a greater community." Here are some of the key things that are not the advocate's jam. Any type of experience done in isolation is not the way of the advocate. They love to congregate in public places or joints that foster coming together. Many brick and mortar businesses and restaurants are advocate archetypes. Working with companies who have chaotic leadership and or operations is an Achilles heel for this archetype. Although they like equality, this quickly turns into bureaucracy, which starts to stifle the advocate's need for an outlet. Some important things to remember as an advocate is your audience is attracted to inclusivity, positivity, and the idea of belonging to something greater. A great way to leverage is through badges as they create a sense of community and belonging amongst members. For example, you can give some type of pin or sticker or decal to members so they can proudly display that they're part of your community. They want to feel included when you make changes and shifts in your business. And it's wise to let them know about changes long before they happen so they can feel included in the process. Finally, some features and positioning angles to draw more attention for your offer. Ensure the product makes people feel like they belong. Make the product have a form, function, or application that supports things commonly used in everyday life. Price yourself in the lower to average in the industry because you want it in as many hands as possible. Differentiate yourself as the people's brand against the leader, innovator, or rebels in your industry. And a final word for the advocate. Anything that involves a club, a membership, a hangout, or something similar is right up the advocate's alley. Focus on big lead-generating activities and offer volume-based products and services to create rich and high revenue through community creation. Now the question is, what do you do with all of this information? Well, there's two options. First, if you're sitting here wondering to yourself, am I an advocate? That sounds like me. Then you're gonna wanna take my brand archetype assessment. This in-depth psychological assessment is the only archetype test on the internet that's been recognized by a top collegiate school of psychology. Basically, this is not some clickbaity BuzzFeed quiz you take for funsies. This is a deep dive into the psychology that makes your brand unique in the marketplace. Second, if you already know your brand archetype mix, then you want to check out my archetypal storytelling workshop. With over 6 hours of content, this in-depth program will give you both the conceptual and the practical understanding of using your brand archetype mix in your business. By the end of it, you'll have identified several stories from your life that can be shared to attract more high-quality, high-paying clients. Now, you can find out more information down below. And that's it. If you found value in this content, please hit the thumbs up button below so we can get this video in front of more entrepreneurs who want help getting crystal clear on their unique message. Be sure to also hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you're notified when new content is released. I'm Jen Kim, here to help elevate how the world sees, hears, and pays you. Until next time.